Alright, what's up guys? Adam Frater here. Today I'm going to show you how to do a handstand push-up. I'm going to break down the movement and show you exercises that you might not be training to help you build up the strength and the stability necessary to do those handstand push-ups. I'm also going to show you the do's and the don'ts. A lot of people are training for handstand push-ups in the wrong way and they're wasting their time. And I want to save you that time, so let's dive right in. Alright, so the most important part about a handstand push-up is understanding the form. You have to understand that you're not doing a handstand and just coming down from the floor to the top of your head. You're actually coming down to here. Your arms should make a right angle. You do not want to wind up here. If you wind up there with your fist to your shoulder, it's going to be much more difficult. Now there's all kinds of progressions and ways to make it harder, but let's see if I can show you proper form. Kick up. Good form handstand. Instead of bringing my face to my hands, I'd come in front of my hands, my feet drop, and this is the position. I'm going to come down from that. So that's exactly where you want to get to, and then as you drive up, you try to hold that position going back to vertical. Now let's break that down. In order to properly do a handstand push-up, you need to be able to do the handstand part. So what you noticed was I started in a handstand, I came down to push-up position, and then the goal would be to drive back up into handstand. That would be your handstand push-up. I see too many people that don't have a handstand yet that are trying to do a handstand push-up like this. They just come in here, they sink, and it kind of looks something like that. I don't mean to make fun, I'm just trying to give you an example of what I see that's common. People have such an end goal of wanting to be able to push themselves up that everything else is out the window. They don't care about form, they don't care about doing a handstand first, they just want to be able to push themselves up. Now, you can train for handstand push-up strength without being able to do the handstand, but if the end goal is to do a handstand push-up, work on your straight arm locked handstand position, because that's the starting and ending point of a handstand push-up. Alright, so I'm going to bring parallel bars into this for the sake of this demonstration. So, a lot of people have the goal of going from L-sit up into handstand, down into L-sit. An amazing move, one of my favorites, but again, what I often see is going from here and then dropping the head and the shoulders. And then you wind up here. Now some people just practice that. I'm combining two things. There's one, the don't of sinking like this. And then there's two, the practice of people that do this and hold this shape. Two things are happening here. One, when you sink forward, it is just so much harder to press into a handstand push-up from here. And this isn't the position you want to be in. So the minute you sink here, you're in bad position and you're way deeper than you want to be. So if you want to tuck into a handstand, you want to be here. Keep the arms as straight as possible. The more you bend them, the more you're going to have to extend them. So build that strength of being able to come to here. The higher you can get, then you can get into tuck in this position. And you don't have to push up as high. Secondarily, if you're the type to hold this position, as I showed before, you're not going to build the strength to push up into that handstand position because you're really just building stability. It's a great movement, uses a lot of core strength, but you're just not working the strength necessary to land that handstand push-up. So if this is you, and this is 90-something% of all people I see training handstand push-up, pay attention to this next part because I'm going to show you exercises that actually will help you get the strength. Alright, so logically anybody explaining how to do a handstand push-up is going to tell you that the exercises you should be doing is building strength by using a wall, doing handstand push-ups on a wall. I agree with that entirely. Go ahead and do that. I'm not going to show it in this video because that's boring and you already know that. So we're going to do something different because the truth is I could do handstand push-ups on a wall for years before I ever started doing handstands on the ground or freestanding handstand push-ups. They're very different. First, we're gonna do the crow position in yoga, and I'm gonna show you how to remove your knees. We're in crow. Now this is crow. This is a yoga movement where you put your knees on the back of your elbows or up into your triceps, and you float on your wrist. This is a counterbalance. You're really stacking your body. So you're not actually using strength, although some of you may have to use strength to hold this movement. It really shouldn't be that hard. I know people who can't do reps of push-ups that can hold crow. The next piece is gonna be where you build your strength. Try to shift as much weight forward into your hands as possible and take the weight into your upper body and off of your elbows. So I'm here, I float forward. Now from here, I'm trying to take my knees off. Now right now, they're not off, but I'm still moving way more weight to my hands. So I'm doing what needs to be done. Here, I'm holding. And that's it. See that regression? I don't have to push back up. All I have to do is take my knees off. And if I hold it for 2 seconds and drop, then I engage the muscles and I got what I needed out of the exercise. If you have the ability, go into crow, bring your knees off, and try to bring yourself up into handstand. Next exercise is what I call straddle assist. This is actually what really helped me get not only my handstand, but my handstand push-up when I was back learning a few years ago. Go into straddle position, put your hands down. From here, I want you to float forward on your toes, bringing your shoulders past your wrists. You're gonna bend your arms wherever is comfortable, and you might have to bring your feet up. You might even have to bring your hands closer to your feet. Float forward until you feel your feet start to float off the ground. You'll see my feet just float off the ground for a second. So very similar to the crow hops, these are gonna start to work the straddle, and you can use these as more of an assist and more of a kick. So now if I really wanna come up in the handstand, I'm gonna lean forward and really kick. See that? My hips are what starts to throw my body up and over. Before everybody gets on me for form, we're just discussing a workout that's gonna help you build the strength, build the explosive power necessary to drive that force up into a handstand push-up. If you work this exercise and you work the exercise before in combination with the exercise that I'm about to show you, you will not only build the strength, you'll build the stability, and you will have proper form to do a perfect handstand push-up. For the next exercise, we have negatives. So a handstand negative or a handstand push-up negative. I just call them negatives to make it easy. Guys, we're gonna go up into handstand, and we're gonna do what I did at the beginning, where I only come down. I only try to slowly engage my muscles and let myself down. I don't worry about driving upwards. So here's what it looks like. And I'll come down. And I'll go back up into it, and I'll do the same thing. And I can do that in straddle too, if I prefer. Boom. The negatives. The slower and slower that you can control that, imagine coming down slowly, and whatever point you desire, being able to change direction and nailing that handstand push-up. All right, guys, last but not least, wrists. Your wrist mobility and strength is going to be everything when it comes to a handstand push-up. Think about it. Can you, first off, you can try the lotus position, bring your hands in like this, try to open up and extend, and you'll see I'm not even making my wrist as open as necessary to do a handstand. So even in a handstand, I'm using my weight to create more mobility, which means that I just have less strength. So something that I'm always working on. So when you're in a handstand push-up, you can't just be on the heels of your hand. You have to open up your hand and start to move your weight forward. Your fingertips should be white. They should be absorbing as much of the ground as the heel of your hand. And from here, when your weight comes over your wrist, because your head comes to here, it's a lot on the wrist. Two things that are really important. One, stretching your wrist, the back of your wrist, rotating your arm as you do it this way as well. I love this one as well as this one on all fours. Rotating your scapula, sinking forward over the wrist as you rotate. Open up those wrists, increase that mobility, and then train this exercise slowly. People like to use parallel bars because when you're holding a parallel bar, your wrist is even. When you're on the floor, your wrist is completely open. So like that's way more tension on the muscles in your forearm. Parallel bar, it's a little bit easier. So maybe mix up your training, give your forearms a little bit of a break, but recognize that that wrist mobility and strength is really gonna be the difference maker in handstand push-ups and planche, really in any hand training, because you're putting your whole body weight on your hands. It's a lot. Hope you got something out of this video. I'm telling you, if you train those exercises, if you avoid the don'ts and you stick with what I showed you, you will have your handstand push-up. Just train it, guys. It takes time, but you can do it. I believe in you. Hit the subscribe button. Like if you liked this video. I appreciate you. I'll see you next time.